Hey, we're the Fords, and this is By Grace We Live. Welcome back for another week of By Grace We Live. Again, we are so thankful that you're here. I feel like I start that way each week, but it's truly because I want gratitude to be the first thing out of my mouth if you're sitting here listening to us. So, Ryan, how was your week?
It was a bit of a long week.
You can say that again.
Yeah. Yeah, just with the dogs.
Yeah.
The dog, Ace specifically.
Yep. Last week we talked about our dog Riley, and this week our dog Ace is giving us a run for our money.
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay, how about a high and a low to kind of explain?
Well, the low is Ace's leg is acting up. He had ACL surgery.
Mm-hmm. December,
and so now we can tell he did something to it. We're hoping it's not another tear, but I
know for a fact he slipped on our kitchen floor this week. And I thought, oh no, that's not good. But because it was like his legs went out under him. He was like sliding around all crazy. But then like the rest of the day he was fine. I think it was that evening that we noticed like he had a little bit of a limp. And now all weekend he's kind of just not been putting as much pressure down on it. And
limping a little.
I thought you were going to say that the low this week was waking up too. Again, so sorry if you're eating. Maybe you want to stop this and finish your food.
I forgot that was this week.
Yeah, because it's been such a long, stinking week.
Yeah.
We woke up to Ace getting sick in his kennel on Monday morning.
Diarrhea, sick.
I was already up. I was working in the living room, and I heard him moving around in our family room in his cage, and I was like, what's he doing? And so we have a doggy camera in that room that's pointed towards them. I don't really know why we still have it. We don't even use it anymore. But I turned it on and I saw him squatting, and then I heard shh.
Okay.
It was awful. And I was like, oh no. So I ran into the room. Yep, sure enough. Poo-poo everywhere. All in his kennel, all on the wall. It was awful.
Yeah.
But I was working, so you had to wake up and clean it.
Yeah, that was not fun.
No, it was awful. And then he got sick a couple more times that day. Thankfully outside, was not in the house. But then he did get sick again on Friday in the house. Mm-hmm. Same thing. Although not on the wall and in his kennel. But I just am... The amount of times that we have cleaned up fluids from our animals the last couple weeks, it's just unbelievable. I will say thank you to Ryan and Sara of 2016 who had the wherewithal to buy a carpet shampooer when we got Ace.
We've used that a lot.
We've used that a lot this week.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that was a pretty crappy way to start the week.
One.
Yeah. I mean, Ace is on medicine now.
Too.
He's on medicine now for his belly issues.
I just think it's one of those things.
I think he got
something, or he'll be fine.
Yeah.
That isn't the thing that's really concerning me so much is his leg.
Yeah. I mean, the leg, obviously, that's worrisome. But, the other stuff was not fun either.
No, but that's just something I knew would pass eventually.
Hopefully,
so,
yeah.
Well, it will.
But, yeah. This is why people don't get pets. This right here, the last 2 weeks.
A lot of reasons.
I know, but for people who love dogs and love cats, but they're like, no, I don't want the responsibility of being a pet owner. The last 2 weeks that we've experienced is why. It can be pretty unfortunate at times, but we love them.
Yep.
They're not going anywhere, so we'll keep putting up with the poop and the puke and just marveling at how wonderful they are. So that was your low.
Yeah.
What was your high?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Just all I see when I look back at the week is poop.
Yeah. So. Yeah. It was a pretty crappy week, honestly.
As far as that stuff goes.
Yeah.
I mean, it was fine.
The rest of the week was good.
Yeah. Yeah. That was just Ace's leg has been stressful.
Yeah.
That's really just a part of it.
I'll be honest. I feel like I have felt very anxious and stressed all week, and it's kind of been like this cloud that has just like covered my mind. Mm-hmm. And so every day I'm just kind of feeling like, ugh, you know, even if it's like not a bad day, it's just a good day, I still have like this lingering anxiety because of his little leg.
Yeah.
He's so pitiful.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I have a high I can share.
Okay, that's good.
So on Friday afternoon, my mom came down with one of my nieces, and I asked her to come so that I could have like a day where I just deep clean and don't have to worry about, you know, Miles like getting into everything as I'm cleaning or not having to give him my full attention. And she came down with one of my nieces because she really wanted to come as well. And I did not get as much cleaning done as I would have liked, I'll be honest, because a lot of Ace's issues happened on that day too. But it was really, really fun watching Miles interact with my niece. They had so much fun together, and like he was so expressive and like laughing, and her name is Emery, and he can kind of say it. He goes, Emery, like, I don't know. It's just the cutest thing. And he would just like run through the house saying her name and giggling, and they set up like race car tracks, and she was trying to figure out really cool ways to make the car like go really fast, and just, I don't know. I loved watching like their imaginations together. It was really, really cute. So that was probably my high. And, you know, I got to spend time with my mom, and I did get to deep clean our one bathroom very well. And that made me feel very happy. Okay. There's just nothing like it. You know what I mean? You don't know what I mean. But I love when like our whole home is super clean. And I mean, I don't remember the last time that happened, but I'm a nerd. So, but anyway, so that's that. Moving on to book club. I will start by saying I finished Dream Big. I did it, you guys. Thank you. Thank you. I gave it a 4 out of 5 on Goodreads. I did think I was going to give it a 5. And hear me out. I really do. I like his writing style. I feel like it catches my attention. It keeps me entertained. And it makes me want to keep going back for more. I thought he had very good points that he made. Part of me wishes like maybe there was a little more depth to like a conversation about like the Lord leading us in our dreams. Like he touches on it a little bit, but he's kind of just like, any dream you have, just go for it. Like, well, to an extent, like he does say, if you have too many things that you're trying to focus on, you'll never go anywhere. You'll never do anything about it. But maybe this is just my personality type, because I am the type of person that I'm like, I need to have meaning. I need to have like purpose behind almost everything that I do, which might be silly. I don't know. But I just felt like he didn't go as deep as he could have when it comes to that kind of conversation. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, it really was a good book. And I do want to talk about it in the future, but that's all.
Hot dog.
Yep. Closing
That's
the book.
club.
No.
What?
Oh, you're still reading Lord of the Rings, but you don't have anything you want to share?
No, I mean, I'm just still reading Lord of the Rings and living things.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Moving on. Okay, so for this week, we are going to talk about the importance of Sabbath in our lives. And I'll be honest, I don't feel like this is something that we have intentionally been doing for a very long period of time. It's not like we're pros or experts. But we had like a super busy weekend last weekend. And I feel like at the end of it, we both were like, why are we so exhausted? And it really was because we did not truly have our Sabbath. And we realized, I think, I don't want to speak for you, but I'll speak for myself. Like at the end of the weekend, I was like, man, because I didn't do the things that I like to do to practice Sabbath this weekend, I feel so drained and so wiped out. And it just really helped me see the importance of it, even though we're not pros and like we don't have it down pat, haven't been doing it for years or anything like that. But we just thought it would be cool to kind of talk about what it looks like in our lives, our understanding of Sabbath, and how we practice it. Does that sound good?
Sounds good.
I will say for me, the idea of Sabbath has never, like all throughout my life growing up, was never really part of my life. Like I just kind of thought like, oh, that I do remember reading about that in the Bible. Like, oh, God created the world and then he rested on the seventh day and said it was holy. But like, that was my extent of like understanding of what that meant. And when I was in college, I was an RA one year, and I remember like we were ramping up for a new semester, and we had to come back a few days early and do stuff as RAs to get prepared for the new year. And the one day they talked about rest and they talked about a Sabbath, and they had us all sit down by ourselves and write, what does it mean to rest for you? Like, what does that look like? And I literally wrote naps because like that was my understanding of rest. Like I was like, oh, I love napping and that's what I do. And there's nothing wrong with naps. I still to this day love a good nap. But Sabbath, I think, is just so much more than that. And I've recently, over like, I would say the last year, started to understand that more and try to implement that more into my personal life. And actually, it goes back to last spring. I did a course, and then you did it in the fall at our church, called Emotionally Healthy Spirituality. And one of the chapters that he talks about, the author is Peter Scazzero, and we'll link this info in the description. But one of the chapters is completely devoted to Sabbath. And he talks about the 4 components of a Sabbath. And I really like the way that he kind of structured it and laid it out, because it really helped me understand like Sabbath is a lot more than just sleeping, which is all I used to view it as. So really quickly, I'm going to read them. The 4 components are: 1, you actually have to stop. So like quit working, quit doing chores, stop doing projects. And this act of stopping shows us that God is on the throne and the world continues to exist even when we're not working. 2, we have to rest. So find things that are replenishing to you. 3, delight. So delight in God's creation and the gifts he's given to us. You could do that however you want, like whatever is personal to you. So if you really delight in creation, like take a hike, go to a field of flowers, or go sit at a lake or whatever. If it's enjoying breakfast or coffee with one of your really good friends who's life-giving to you, do that. If it's devouring your favorite meal, do that. Like, you know, that I love that part is just like a very personal thing. If you do what delights you. And then 4 is to contemplate, which is pondering the love of God and meditating on his word, which I think is a really key component to Sabbath that sometimes can get left out sometimes in the conversation of Sabbath. Like it's really good to stop what you're doing and to rest and to do things that that fill you up. But oftentimes I feel like the component of, okay, but also like spending time with the Lord sometimes can get left out of that. So those are the 4 things that he talked about that really helped me kind of reframe how I viewed Sabbath last spring. And it's really hard to find time to Sabbath when you have a child or if you have multiple kids. Some people, I'm sure, can definitely relate to that. But I would say for us, Saturday has worked well to try to like focus on, okay, this is our Sabbath day. I know traditionally some people might view it as Sunday, but like we go to church on Sunday and we also serve on our worship team every other Sunday. And while I love going to church, and I love serving on our worship team, that doesn't always feel restful for me. And usually, actually, the rest of the day, I'm very wiped, especially if we are on the worship team, because it means waking up very early so I can get ready before Miles gets up. We had to get to the church really early with him so we can practice before worship. And again, all of that is really good, but like, it just doesn't feel like super restful. So we've kind of dedicated Saturday to being like our family Sabbath day.
And ultimately, it doesn't matter. The day doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't. But I'm just saying, like, we found this is what works for us. And a caveat to that too is like, if we have like a birthday party to go to, or, you know, a get together with friends, like, we're not going to be like, oh no, it's our Sabbath, we're so sorry. Like, we obviously make time for those things because they're super important to us too.
Well, and I think that's part of the misunderstanding of Sabbath, that you can't do anything.
Right.
Because like part of Sabbath is doing things that are life-giving.
Yeah, delight.
Yeah, and that bring you joy and whatnot, and that can be going to dinner with friends or
celebrating someone's life.
Yeah, so it's like I think there's this, people make it bigger in their head than what it actually is. It's not like this overly holier than thou thing where it's like you go into like monk mode.
No.
And like you lock yourself in a room and you just pray and
and do nothing else
and stare at the wall. It's not like that. I think there's a misunderstanding sometimes of when it comes to that, just because like people can be like, well, how do I fit things in if I devote a whole day to a Sabbath? But if that makes sense, I don't know.
Yeah, no, it does. Well, I feel like I've talked a lot. I would love to know, like, your understanding of Sabbath, kind of how you viewed it before, why you feel like it's important to honor it, that kind of thing.
Well, I mean, before, like, I really learned what true Sabbath means, I guess I just thought it was going to church on Sunday. You know, as stupid as that sounds, like, before I actually had an understanding of what it meant to have a Sabbath day, I thought it meant go to church on Sunday and then don't do anything for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
And
that doesn't sound stupid. I feel like a lot of people probably feel that way.
Yeah. Well, and it's just like, I think it's one of those things that just for a long time, and maybe it's just, I don't know, not something that was focused on, but I never heard anyone teach super clearly on Sabbath. I mean, pretty much all I knew in the Bible was that the Pharisees were taking it too seriously. They were literally, like you just said, like, you can't do anything on Sabbath. And even if it means helping people. Yeah, right. And so I just think I never really grew up with a good understanding of what that meant or knew what it meant. And and so it just was like, oh, it's Sunday, you know, because we're Christians, and you know, that's when we go to church. The Jewish tradition was Saturday, and so it's like that was just what it was for me, and I didn't really do anything special aside from go to church that day. Yeah, but now, I mean, it's kind of like what you said. I mean, that's pretty much the way I view it as well. I think that's the most common kind of understanding of Sabbath. And it's interesting because what were the four, how did you say the four things again?
Stop, rest, delight, and contemplate. It's interesting because I just made this connection, but those are very similar to the four things in Lectio Divina. Yeah. Like when you're meditating on scripture. Right. Like when you're spending time with God. Yeah. And it's just, I mean, the light's a little different, but I kind of could equate that to like Thanksgiving, because there's like that's part of Lectio Divina. For sure. And so I don't know, I just thought about that connection right now at this moment, so I don't know really what to say about it, but it's interesting. But I think that shows how, just how powerful it can be, because it's
not only the way we like recharge, rest ourselves, and
it's not only how we recharge and rest, but it's also like how we connect
commune
to
with
the
God.
Father. And
Yeah.
it's like you need to rest and recharge in order to kind of connect to him, to be able to connect to him, I feel like.
And I think just to like go with our lot, like deal with everything in our lives and in our week. And I think that's, I was thinking about Sabbath, and I think it's so important because without it, it's a lot harder for us to go against, like to go against the current of the world and of the culture. It's a lot harder for us to stand out, to be the salt of the world or the light of the world when we aren't taking care of ourselves in that rhythmic kind of way, like weekly way. And so then we end up just, we wonder why sometimes, like, why am I reacting the same way all these people who don't know Jesus reacts to this thing? Or why am I, fill in the blank? Why do I look just like the world? Well, it might be because you're not taking that time to have that Sabbath and rest and take delight in who God is and in the things he has given you, and your family, and then also spending time with God and making that connection again. It's very intentional without distraction, because obviously I think it's important to spend time with God every day. But
this is like
there's a special time with Sabbath where it's like it's not in the middle of a work day. Like for me, it's not, it's in the middle of a rest of a, so it's a bit of a different,
it's set aside. It's holy. Like it's a holy time. Yeah. I think for me too, it's really hard, or I used to like use the excuse of like, I just can't stop doing all the things I need to do for a day to like keep our like household running, basically. I would be like, okay, I'll do a Sabbath, but like I also have to like clean, and I have to cook, and I have to do the dishes, or I have to do laundry, and like
a child.
We have a child. We have two
change
dogs.
His diapers.
Like those kind of things. Like you actually, this is something that you say all the time to me, but it's like if we're sitting down to watch a movie, or we're sitting down to watch TV and like enjoy that time together, you're like, can you just not be doing the laundry? Can you just not be on your phone? Can you just not be whatever? And I'm always like, no, I can't. I have to do this. Like I have to, like I have a really hard time just letting go of all those things and like truly resting.
You feel like you have to maximize your time.
I do. That is it for sure. Like I feel like if I'm not being productive, I'm wasting my time. And I know this about myself. So a couple months ago, actually, and I know that I have like, this is definitely a privilege that I have because I work from home and I set my own schedule. And I recognize that not everybody can do this and has this flexibility. But I changed my schedule on Friday so that I wasn't working during Mike Miles's nap time. And I devote now Fridays to like cleaning the house as much as I possibly can. What's feasible with a child running around too. Because like I also do that while he's awake. Like instead of always being intentional about playing with him the whole time he's like playing, he'll be playing and I'll be cleaning that room, whatever.
Well, he plays by himself more now,
he does
too.
really well, like independent play. And half the time if I'm trying to play with him, he
goes and does something.
Takes stuff and leaves. I'm like, cool. But anyway, so like I intentionally decided I'm going to do this on Friday so that I can rest for the weekend. Like I'm not going to have to worry about like, did I get enough laundry done this weekend? Or do I need to do grocery shopping on Monday? Or because I also do our grocery shopping on Fridays now, which before it was kind of just like whenever I felt like we needed groceries, I would go like during the week. And usually that was like Monday or whatever. But I started doing these intentional things. So I'm setting myself up for having no excuses. And I'm like, no, it's our rest time. Like this is our Sabbath now. Okay, that, again, there's flexibility with that. Like, if
things happen.
But that's been really helpful for me to like not have an excuse, you know? And I actually do sometimes have to tell myself, Sarah, it's Sabbath. Don't go do laundry. It's okay. Like, it'll be there tomorrow and you can do it tomorrow. But yeah. Do you ever feel like it's hard for you to rest?
I think yes, but in a different way. I think for me, it's more of I get distracted. I'm not like I can pretty easily tell myself not to go do some work, and I'm fine.
Actually, after I asked you the question, I was like, I already know the answers.
Yeah.
No.
Well, it's different in the sense of like part of it though too is like my actual job is it not in my house,
right?
And so like you're constantly seeing your like everything that needs to get done all day,
right?
So like it's more on your mind constantly, whereas like I don't always see that, but like there are things like mowing the lawn or whatever that I can pretty easily tell myself not to do.
Yeah. Yeah, you're never gonna have to fight Ryan to not mow the lawn.
Yeah, I mean, I actually it's okay. I don't mind it.
You should look at it as like an hour to yourself completely. You can pop in a podcast or whatever. And
really, the thing that I hate about mowing the lawn is having to weed whack at the end. That's the worst part.
That's like the shortest part too.
It's not really though. It doesn't feel like it because we have a riding lawnmower. So, and it's just like having, I don't know. It just hurts my shoulders. I think it's the way I stand. I don't know. Well, and our weed whacker sucks.
That's true. It always dies. Anyway, we're
there's so many issues with it. And anyways, we're on a tangent here.
Yes.
But so that's not so much an issue. What is the issue is being intentional.
Mm-hmm. Not just like video gaming all day.
Yeah, or
which there's
like
nothing wrong
scrolling
with video
games. That's fine for part of it, but like scrolling through Instagram or something like spending too much time on my phone, or those are the things that are more or trickier for me. When I'm trying to do Sabbath, where it's like I'm not intentional, so I end up wasting a lot of valuable time that could have been so much more, because I can tell too by the end of the day if I haven't done like any of the really rich stuff that I wish I did. I feel it, like reading or spending time outside on the deck, writing, spending time with God, those kinds of things. Like if those things aren't as prevalent, I can definitely feel it when I'm not doing it. Yeah. So.
I think too, something that I started to do, you don't do it, but you like kind of partake in it because I'm doing it, is I've created like a weekly calendar that I put up on our fridge, and it's very detailed. It gives you each and every day, but it also gives you like your meal plan for the week, chores or projects that you need to get done. It has a space for like inspiration for the week or things that you're thankful for. I really like it. And I fill it out on Sunday nights before the week starts. And I write down like anything that we have on our calendar for the week, anything that I have on my calendar, anything that Ryan specifically has, so that we can all see like what is going on this week. And that's been really helpful because there have been times where I see like, okay, our whole week or weekend is completely booked. Like we have so much going on. Yeah. And I remember recently, like I said to you, hey, Saturday, if you want to like get out of the house for Sabbath, like I'm telling you to do it, because I recognize your Sabbath looks different than mine sometimes. I can spend the day with people and feel very filled up. That doesn't necessarily feel the same way for you. Like you really enjoy your alone time. So if I see like, hey, we have back-to-back stuff on a weekend, I'll just throw that out there and I'll write like Ryan Sabbath. So that means like Ryan, do whatever you want. for Sabbath. I will be here with Miles, or I will take him out of the house, whatever. So that's been helpful for us too, like knowing what the week looks like so we can kind of plan accordingly.
Yeah.
Again, just like being intentional.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, let's get to like what we like to do for Sabbath.
Okay.
Do you want to go first?
Sure. Well, I kind of already mentioned some, like, reading is a big one. Because sometimes during the week I can, if it's just a
poopy
long
week.
work days, or yes, a poopy week like this week, sometimes in the evening after work and after Miles goes to bed, I don't always want to sit and read, or I'm just like tired and it's hard,
Yeah. I know. I just fall asleep.
Right. And so, one thing I really like doing is reading out, especially now in the summer, reading out on the deck. But I try to do it now with Miles. I try to do it as nap time. Mm-hmm. And I've learned that that's one of those things I have to do early. Mm-hmm. That's a thing too with
you can't wait because you never know how long you're going to get for his nap.
Well, yes, but also because sometimes I might read before bed.
Yeah.
I
see what you mean.
If like figuring out when I'm going to do what on my Sabbath, mm-hmm. I've learned that like reading has to be before like 5 o'clock.
Yeah. Or you'll be really tired.
And same thing with like, spending time with God and things like that. Mm-hmm. It's better to be earlier than later. And that can shift though, like my quiet time or God time, whatever you want to call it. That I find can be later. I think it's because I'm writing as well.
Yeah.
Like I'm reading the Bible, but I'm also writing and journaling. So I feel like it flicks my mind on a little more, and it's not just sitting reading words on a page. Mm-hmm. So that is a little more flexible, but definitely reading I've learned just to do early.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, those like that's having alone time is a big part of it.
Yes.
Like trying to find time to just do something by myself, it doesn't have to be fancy. It could just be reading. It could literally just be sitting outside. And another thing I like to do is be very intentional with Miles. I mean, I try to always be like, that sounds bad.
Only on Saturdays.
Right.
Am I intentional with my son?
That's not what I mean. But I guess like maybe doing something more special, or like the Pillow Dome. Like That's definitely a Saturday. Like we're just doing whatever.
Yeah.
We can just waste.
Because that's a huge mess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so things like that, I like to do as well if I can. Mm-hmm. Sometimes that's kind of stuff, it doesn't always work out. Depends on Miles too, because I could put in a bunch of effort to do something and then he has no care about it in the world. Yep. So,
and like we went to the zoo one time on a Saturday.
Like that's fun.
Yeah.
So stuff like that, as a family, mm-hmm. if we can do something like that, or and it doesn't have to be crazy. It could literally just be like, we had something fun for breakfast this Saturday or something. Like,
I was just
unique.
about to say, I think one of my favorite parts of Sabbath, and this isn't like we intentionally started doing this because it was Sabbath. It just kind of naturally happened because it is the only morning that you're like home mm-hmm. when he wakes up and like still staying home. Like on Sunday, we all get up together and go to church. But Saturday, we get to be home. And so like a little tradition that's kind of started is I get Miles up and he has his morning milk because he gets really hangry if he doesn't. And then immediately he knows, like he knows. He goes, Dada, and mm-hmm. he goes to our room and climbs into bed with you. And then we watch cartoons. It's always like Mickey
Saturday
Mouse.
Morning cartoons.
Yeah. But I love that. Like it's like a slow way to start the day. Mm-hmm. And I hope that like as he grows up, he remembers Saturday morning cartoons with mommy and daddy, like on Sabbath. And then, yeah, occasionally we do like you make really good breakfast bagels. So you'll make those, or we'll just have something special. Mm-hmm. This week we had a really fun coffee drink. It's not really that crazy.
It's just coffee with.
It was okay. There's a local coffee shop, and they make like this drink with a milk, like a dairy farmer that's also local to the area. It's strawberry milk in an espresso drink. So I found the strawberry milk at a grocery store, and I had cold brew already at home. So we just made like our own little version of it, and it was quite tasty.
Yeah.
And Miles loved the strawberry milk.
Yeah.
So that was fun too.
He was digging that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that all?
Yeah, that's pretty much it that I can think of right now. But yeah.
I think for me, one thing that stands out to me that I really love, and I don't always get to do this, there's a flower field about 20 minutes from our house, and you pay $20 and you can go and pick a bouquet of flowers. But what I really like about it is they have 2 picnic tables on the field, and I've gone to like a workshop at this field before, so I like talked to the owner, and she said like they have these picnic tables here for people to come and just sit if they want to and enjoy like the scenery. Mm-hmm. So I'll go usually after Miles goes to bed. Sometimes I've gone like in the morning. I do prefer after Miles goes to bed though, because then it's like the sun is setting, and the field's only open until
sunset.
Yeah, sunset. I couldn't remember if it was dusk or dawn. It's dusk, right?
Yeah.
My brain. But yeah, sunset. So like, I really like going after he goes down, and then I take my Bible and my journal. I go and pick my flowers, and I sit and I spend time with the Lord. And there's some of my favorite times. It's helpful for me to get out of the house on Sabbath.
Yeah.
Because I spend so much time like at home, because I am at home all the time. So it's nice to be able to like get out of the house. And
you very quickly can get consumed by some activity.
Stuff.
Like, I'm just going to go do this real quick. Or I just got to, put this laundry in the washer real fast. Or sleep.
And then like the rest of the day, I'm like, I just wasted so much time sleeping.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes that's okay.
Yeah.
It depends what you need.
I love a good nap. I mean, I don't know how many times I can say that.
That can be part of it. That can be part of it.
For sure.
Rest is one of the things.
It is. But like you said, like sometimes I've done that, and then I get to the end of the day and I'm like, I wish I would have done this or whatever. I also like to go thrifting, which that's something new for me. Going thrifting. I mean, shopping's not new, but the thrifting aspect is. So I enjoy that, like trying out different thrift shops, the thrift stores in the area. I am the type of person who would love to grab coffee or breakfast with a friend on Sabbath. I haven't done it actually like on Sabbath recently, but the last couple weeks I've been going on walks with a few of my friends. Like it's been a weekly date, and that's been really, really life-giving for me. I read somewhere, or did I hear it on a podcast? I can't remember. I don't know who said this, but it's like if you work like your day job is with your mind, you should be active during your rest. Or if you're very active for your work, you should be very still for your rest. So like going for a walk might not feel like, oh, you're not stopping, you're being active or whatever. But like I sit at a computer when I'm quote unquote working for my regular job. So it's nice.
It's not quote unquote working.
I actually am working.
Work.
I know. Well, I consider the fact that I'm a stay-at-home mom like my most important job too.
Well, yeah.
And that's very active. So sure. What I'm saying is like my paycheck job, if you will, is sitting at my desk. Sitting at a computer. So I like the idea that like I should try to find active things to do that are life-giving and restful, and walks with a friend. It's a great way to do that. But yeah. I've wanted to start baking more like for Sabbath. Oh. And I have. Like I made a peach cobbler recently, and like I've done scones before, like chocolate chip cookies, or just simple stuff. But the problem is then I have dessert in the house, and like I eat it. You don't have a very big sweet tooth, so I'm the one that ends up eating all of it. So like this week, for 2 weeks actually, I've been saying I'm gonna make a pavlova, mostly inspired
and I
by.
was like, why?
Mary Berry. Okay, I told you guys a couple weeks ago I loved her autobiography. I got sucked down the rabbit hole of her old like little segments that she used to do. You can find them on YouTube. They're really interesting to watch, just because it's like they're from like the 50s and. The way that they did things back then is just funny. But one of her recipes that she's very famous for is her pavlova. And I just think that sounds very fun to make and a little bit of a challenge because it's a meringue, so you have to get it right. But you top it with like a lemon curd and whipped cream and fresh berries and...
I do like the fresh berries and the curd. Not so much that
you don't
lemon.
love the meringue though.
Yeah.
You don't like the marshmallowy kind of texture.
Yeah.
Because we've had pavlova before, but I've never made it, and so I was like, I'm gonna make it. Well, I haven't made it because I'm like, what am I gonna do with a huge pavlova? Like, I can't eat that all by myself because I know you're not gonna eat it with me.
I mean, I'll try it. I'll have some.
Yeah, but you're not
and who
gonna
knows?
finish
Maybe I'll
it.
love it, and then.
Maybe. But then I'm like, I'm going to waste all of this money making a pavlova.
I mean, you can still do it. It's not going to be a waste.
Well, maybe I'll find an event I can take it to. But see, that's risky.
Yeah,
Never made it before, and then I'm going to take it to someone's house or something.
Yeah,
I don't
especially
know.
How technical that kind of
let's
recipe
be real.
is.
I'm probably going to not do very good the first time. I remember when it was COVID and I had nothing to do because I was stuck at home all day long by myself. I made like a lemon raspberry cake and it did not turn out well at all. I messed up the buttercream frosting.
I don't really remember that.
Yeah, because it was bad. I don't think you ate more than one piece.
Not as good as my Ted Lasso biscuits.
No. Oh my gosh. I forgot about those. You need to make those tonight because we have the ingredients.
Well, I mean, it's like 3 ingredients.
I know,
it's
but they're
super easy.
so good. Also,
Okay.
if you're listening to this and you've never watched Ted Lasso, do it right now.
That's good.
Fair warning. Lots
language.
of swear words. It's, it's an English show, so...
I don't think that necessarily implies.
Well, I think a lot of British
swearing.
shows are a little more loose with that kind of language.
We just watched Ghosts and they didn't have it, like hardly any language.
That's true. Okay. Well, there's a lot of F-bombs, and it's shocking.
I mean, it's
at
rated
first.
mature.
Yeah.
For
and there's
the language.
some like very mature adult content in the second season. More.
Yeah, I
so than
wouldn't
the first.
say it's not very mature adult content. It's
I would
mature.
Don't watch
it's
it with
rated
your kids.
M. Yes, I know, but it's not like the way you said it implies things that it's not.
No, okay.
And you can look it up and
I might
see
just
why
be
it's
sensitive
rated.
to that kind of stuff, but yeah.
But
so Ted Lasso.
it's great.
I'm sure you've heard of this because if you haven't, you must be living under a rock. But it is a show about a gentleman who is a football coach in southern United States who gets recruited to come and coach a soccer team.
Very successful football coach.
Yes, a very successful
American football coach.
Gets recruited to be a coach for a soccer team in Great Britain. Has no idea about soccer at all. But it's amazing because he is amazing.
Yeah,
he cares
he's
way
a
more about
super
the
great guy.
people than he does the sport, basically. And that's kind of
he
how
cares about the sport, but
well, that's how he approaches
puts the
coaching.
people
It's more
above
about the team than it is about
winning. Yeah. Because ultimately, he also believes that if they can work together and they're good people,
Then
they
they can win.
will be successful.
Anyway, it's hilarious. It's like, it's just a feel-good show.
Yeah.
And he makes these little biscuits for his boss every single day. He brings her a little box of biscuits, kind of to like butter her up a little bit.
You just kind of spoiled it a little bit.
I'm sorry. Yeah,
because
you don't
actually know
he
he's the one who makes
Well,
them.
at like the end of the first episode.
I don't think it was at the end of the first episode, was
First or
it?
second. It's pretty early on.
Okay.
Anyway, Ryan found the recipe.
Yeah. It's supposedly the official recipe
Let me
from
tell you. They're
from
so
the
good.
show.
They're just like, what would you call it? Like, I don't know. It's a shortbread cookie, basically.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you have to make
Pairs
them
well
now.
with coffee.
You can't make them now though, because doesn't it take like 45 minutes to sit in the fridge before you can
you have
bake
to
it?
chill it, I think.
Yeah.
If I remember.
Okay.
It'd be a little late.
Next week for Sabbath, you're making those cookies.
Okay.
I'm not baking, you're baking. But anyway, Yeah, those are good. I don't know how we've
gotten on a lot of tangents this time.
I know. I don't know how we got here, but
well, it's because you were talking about baking, and then eventually it led to Ted Lasso.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because they talked about how terrible my cake was.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, that's Sabbath for us.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be complicated.
No.
And I think what's really cool about it is that you can personalize it to who you are. Your Sabbath does not have to look anything like ours.
Yeah. Ultimately, all it is it fits in a frame of the 4 things you'd mentioned about stopping,
rest, delight, and contemplate.
Yeah. And so it's like, as long as you fit your activities within that frame, I mean, that's all those are the things you want to hit on. Yep. And that's the important part. And those can all look different between, different people. And
different days.
It could be on a different day.
Every Sabbath can look totally different.
Yeah. I think the important thing is just trying to make it a rhythm and like a weekly thing. Because if it's like for us, if it's the same day, it's easier for us to actually do it rather than be like, oh, what day are we going to do it this week? And then it becomes like just squished. Yeah.
And I like that we both do it on the same day, because then it does allow for like family activities too. Like let's be intentional about all of us doing something that's fun and restful. And
like I can't really do it during the week because I work every day.
You work.
And then
outside of the home.
Sundays, like we said, is difficult because
it's not that restful, honestly.
Mainly because of when we're on worship team, it's like we start the day really early, and then and I mean, just having somewhere to be in the morning.
It feels like, okay, we got home and like half our day is already gone, which is not actually the case, but because we're so tired, that's how it feels.
Yeah.
But yeah. Any other thoughts you want to share?
I don't think so.
All right. Well, we're going to wrap up the episode with our quote of the week. And I kept saying this. I'm not kidding. I kept saying this to myself every day because I just felt like every day there was something new that was going to rob me of my joy that day. Whether it was a pooping puppy or a limping dog. It's the same dog. I don't know why I said it differently. But in Lamentations chapter 3, verse 22, it says, "The faithful love of the Lord never ends. His mercies never cease. Great is his faithfulness. His mercies begin afresh each morning." And I was clinging to those new mercies every single day. So whether you've had a really great week or a really crappy week, we hope that you have felt the new mercies that God grants us each and every day. And before we sign off, just want to remind you to make sure you're following us at By Grace We Live Pod and subscribe wherever you listen to new episodes. If you have a few seconds and you want to leave us a rating or review, we would be so grateful. Until next time, we'll see you guys next week.